It's January and you're just trying to get your fitness goals on track for the new year, right? But it's cold outside. Nobody wants to go out and go for a run when it's that cold outside, right?
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm just a dude living in North Carolina. I'm not an expert on a lot of things, but I've been running for quite some time. I also like to try a lot of other things that you'll see on this channel. But today, it's all about cold weather running.
Good morning. It's about 10 till 6 a.m. and I'm about to go out for a run. It's particularly cold here in North Carolina where I'm located. And actually it snowed last night. So it's really, really cold. Last I looked, the temperature reading was saying around 22 degrees, but apparently there's a bit of a wind, so the wind chill might be around 10. So we're gonna go out for a run. We'll see how it goes. There's snow on the ground too, so it could be a little treacherous, but we're gonna go out and give it a go. And then later we'll talk about what I like to wear to try to stay warm in these sorts of conditions.
So the first big test for me is when I step outside. If I don't feel immediately frozen, then it's probably that I geared up correctly. And it as cold as it is out here right now, I think I geared up okay. The thing I love about going out for a run at this time of the morning, especially on a day like this, is that there aren't many other people out there. It's just you and the elements. You just go out there and focus on what you're doing, and there's no real distraction. And it's really quiet and serene. It just allows you to go out there and focus on what you're doing, or not focus on what you're doing and focus on a million other things. So I do really love these moments because you can be out in public, but you're pretty much on your own. About a mile and change in. Everything looks pretty good. Now the intersections, they're a little slick, and so anything that even looks shiny, even if I think it's wet, I just assume it's ice and I kind of walk over it. But the jogging has been pretty good. It's forced me to stay even in my pace, so I'll try to take the good with the bad, but so far so good. Gorgeous run. The conditions were not ideal, but let's face it, there's snow on the ground. Where there was snow, like I said before, where there was snow, it was fine.
where there was not snow. It was probably ice and you had to be careful, but by and large, it was a very successful run. What makes me sad is that probably tomorrow all this snow will turn to ice and I probably won't get out and run in it tomorrow, but we'll see. But good run. Well, we're back inside, and after being outdoors for about an hour, it felt really good. My time, I was doing around a 14-minute mile according to the watch, but about 10 minutes of that was strictly just walking up the street after the run. It wasn't about going out there and setting land speed records. You're not going to do that safely in these kinds of conditions. The idea is to get outside, get some fresh air, get a little exercise, and go see what's out there to see. And on a day like today, it's absolutely gorgeous. Nordic parents have said for generations, you know, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. So if you're wearing the right clothing, you're wearing the right gear, you're wearing the enough gear, then you can get through this just fine. Now I'm going to show you what I was wearing to be able to handle all that cold with really no trouble. The first thing you got to wear is a base layer. Now, I wore something like this. It's basically really thin material, and the most important part about this is that it's moisture wicking. You're gonna sweat if you're outside, even in this cold weather. So it's kind of important that you have a layer that will pull the moisture away so you can stay a little warmer. Also, this material breathes really well. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna keep the air flowing so that it doesn't get too hot, and it's gonna pull the moisture away. So this is really critical. This was a long sleeve base layer, and it kept me pretty comfortable. The next layer I wore on top of that was a thicker layer. This is a Nike Dry Fit. It's a little thicker and it keeps you pretty warm. So this was my next layer, and it's also really light, thin, but really effective at keeping you warm. My third layer was a pullover. This was the one I was wearing on that particular day. What I like about this piece is that this material will actually block a lot of wind. So if it was a little breezy out there, this will keep the wind from really hitting me hard, but it also breathes really well. So it's a really effective piece, especially in really cold weather. The next layer, some might say, is a bit extreme, but it really worked well for me on that particular day and in any kind of cold weather. This is a fleece that I wore, and it's hard to kind of see, but it's actually really thin material. Finally, the last piece of clothing that I wore on top was this very thin shell. Again, it helps to block wind, and it's also kind of water resistant, so there's any kind of precipitation. Basically, this would protect me from all of that and keep me dry. Now, again, some people might say, that's crazy, that's way too much stuff to wear, but I actually found it very, very comfortable, even though the wind chill was about 10 degrees and it was about 22 degrees overall. So there was a pretty stiff breeze coming through. You probably have a lot of this stuff already, and so I would just layer it up and then go out for a run and see how it works for you. Everybody's different and every body is different. What works for you might not work for somebody else, but this is what worked for me, and maybe it'll give you a couple of ideas for you to try the next time you're thinking about going running and it's really cold outside. Now that's what I was wearing up top. Down below, well, it was just this. My legs don't get cold, so I was just wearing some simple tights just to keep my legs protected from the wind. But again, my legs don't get particularly cold. You might be different. And if you are different and your legs do get cold, well, I've got something for that too. These are pants filled with down. That's right, down. And they're wonderful. This is made by a manufacturer called Montbell. You can find them online, but I love these pants. They're very comfortable and they work really well in extreme temperatures. I've stood outside in 20-degree weather doing some work, and these pants were a lifesaver. So if you're one whose legs do get cold, there is something out there for you to protect you from the cold weather. You might have noticed in my video that I was wearing something that was blinking. Well,
it's kind of hard to see maybe, but this is what it was. It's a simple little vest that I wore over so that when I'm running at night, it's really easy to see me. I really think it's important to be visible outside because the motorist may not see you if you're not running with something. Sometimes people use reflective materials. I don't think that's good enough. I really encourage, if you're going to run at night, you probably should have one of these. And one last thing I'll recommend, especially for running at night, are these. These are knuckle lights. You can wear them on your hands like this, so they really don't encumber you while you're running. And you can see they're really bright, and they can even help you see in the dark. So these are helpful tools as well.
None of this stuff has been paid. I'm not endorsed by anybody. I don't even have any subscribers yet. So there's really no benefit to me to telling you about any particular brand. And I'm not endorsing any brand. I'm just kind of showing you the sorts of things that I'm wearing and give you maybe some ideas as to what you could do and how you could maybe incorporate some of the things that you already have so that you could go out and try running or walking in weather that's not ideal, especially cold weather. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'd say like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. You know the drill. Just do it if you want to, and if you don't, thanks for watching.